All right, ready? It's my time. Hi. Hi, I'm Martin. I'll be your instructor tonight. Hello, anybody out there? Hi. Is it 6 o'clock? You check your phones for the last time. 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Let's go. So, we're going to be dealing with some pretty important stuff tonight because we're going to be dealing with both process and content. So, this is definitely where we're trying to. We'll be covering a lot of ground tonight. I don't know how long it's going to take. When I reach the end, we're done because there's nowhere I can go after this until you've actually done more homework. So, I think that what we're going to start with tonight is homework 1. So I want to deal with the small claims homework. And recognize that I want to point out, I have no idea whether you did your homework, and in a way I don't really care, right? Because it's up to you to decide, how you want your life to go. I don't believe that I should be telling you that you have to do your homework or you can't come into class if you haven't done the homework or any stupid stuff like that. Because I think it's up to you to decide you want to fail. Like if you want to, then you should be able to make that decision. It shouldn't be for me, right? That being said, and the other thing, the reason I was saying that is because I want you to be aware of the fact that I do mark your test blind, right? Did I tell you that before? That's why you can't put, I don't want your name on it. I just put your student number. I don't care who you are. So when I ask a question like this, you shouldn't be afraid of answering it. But how many of you did your small claims homework? Okay, most of you? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do a grade 3 thing. Okay? And the grade 3 thing is we're going to get someone else to mark your homework. So what I want you to do is put up your hand if you did the homework again, okay? Find someone nearby that, wait a minute, you have to keep your hand up and switch with them, okay? And you can switch more than once. So just switch with somebody that did it, okay? You're going to mark it. Right, so I'm going to walk you through to teach you how. You can switch again. You can always switch. You can do multiple switches until.
Yours is with.
Okay, that's going to be on the exam. That was my little joke. Did you do your homework? Okay, well just check in. You're all right. I should make all those homework people sit at the back. Okay, but if you didn't do it, you should still pay attention. Okay, it's just that I can't give you homework to someone else to mark if you haven't done it, right? So, we're going to walk through. Ready? So in the first question, who's the plaintiff? And who's the defendant? Well, see, that was my little joke. Did you get that? Will I sue him is not the one who sues. He's the defendant. He's being sued. That was a joke. Okay? Will I sue him is not. Anyways, that's right. The defendant is Will, and the plaintiff is? And can they sue in small claims court? For everything? Okay, why? It's under 10,000 and? Is that it?
Agreement or services rendered?
It's a certain amount. It's not really a debatable amount. It's not, right? It's not, and? It's what? What's the third requirement? There were 3 requirements for suing a small claims court. You give me 2. What's the third one?
Not residential rent.
It's not residential rent. Thank you. So, check the person's answer. Make sure it's right. Hopefully it's been explained a bit, and if Mark, put a big check mark there. Okay. And question number 2, who's the plaintiff?
Space for
Space for less. Who's the defendant?
Sandy.
Sandy Warhol. Okay, you guys are too young. Does anybody know who Andy Warhol is? Who does? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Anyways, he's an artist. Anyways, that was the forget it. That wasn't even good. You can't get if you can't get my cultural references, that's too bad. All right, so Kenny Sue and Small Claims Court. How many people has? What's the answer, folks? Is it yes or no?
No.
Why not?
Because it is over 10,000, like the claim is over. Yes.
Not residential.
So what's the answer?
No.
You can't sue because it's not residential?
Yeah.
What? Okay, based on what you think the answer is, not what's in front of you, how many of you say the answer is no, you cannot sue? Put up your hand if you think that's the answer. Okay, then you're wrong if you got your hand up. Why?
It's not residential.
It's only residential rent that goes to the rentals person. Any other rent dispute that isn't residential? What's residential mean? You live there, reside, live, right? So the fact that that's actually going to probably be a commercial lease, and you can definitely sue in small claim court as long as it's under 10,000 and it's a certain amount. So now go to the question that's down below and see whether they got the right answer. If they got the right answer, put a big check mark. If not, put a big nasty X there, okay? That's the big nasty X. All right? In number 3, who's the plaintiff? River States Limited, who's the defendant? And how can he sue in small claims court? Say it louder. He can't. Why? So that cannot go to small claims court. Number 4, who's the plaintiff? And who's the defendant? Bob Birch. Can he sue in small claims court?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not certain amount.
It's over $10,000.
Is it a certain amount?
No.
Yes.
Why not?
It's something the court need to decide how much that damage cost.
It's over 10 years.
What do the facts say?
It's over
The tree go
$10,000.
over the garage.
Hold that for a minute. We're dealing with a separate issue. Is it a certain amount?
Yeah.
What do the facts say?
The tree go over the garage.
And how much did it cost to fix the garage?
10,000 and 20.
So, is that amount certain?
Yes.
Yeah. That would not be a debatable amount. Presumably there's a bill or something for it. That's what it cost. That would be a debatable amount. By the way, when we're asking if you can sue in small claims court, we're not asking can they win. Right? That's a different issue. Whether they win is going to be based on the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to teach you when you win and when you lose. The question that we're dealing with here is, can you actually put the claim in? And what's the answer on this one?
Not for that much.
Yes or no?
No.
Put up your hand if you say it's no. You're wrong. Were you confident in your answer? It's very wrong. The question is, can they sue in small claims court? And the answer is yes, they can. but
Not for that much.
only up to $10,000. Now we ask the second question, would they sue in small claims court? What?
Yes.
Absolutely they would. Yes, 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 they would. Because it's going to cost them $5,000 minimum to go to Queen's Bench. What would you rather lose?
200 or 500.
200 or 5,000? Business decision, folks. And some people go, well, wait a minute, I'm going to go to Queen's Bench because they owe me $10,200 and damn well I'm going to get that $10,200. We call those people morons. Okay? That's just bad. That's a bad decision to make, right? You take the loss. You don't always get everything in law. It's a business decision. And a business would never say, a smart business anyways, would never say, I'm going to spend 200 to lose, I'm going to gain 200 to lose 5,000. So, yes, you can, and yes, you would. You would take the loss, though. Got it? Last question. Who's the plaintiff?
George.
Who's the defendant?
Nancy.
Is it Nancy? I don't know. I don't have the facts in front of me. I don't do the homework. That's for you guys to do. Is it Nancy?
Yeah.
You guys know what a paper hanger is? This is old. It's almost too old even for me. Do you know what a paper hanger is? Anybody? This was a name given to a very particular type of criminal. They were called a paper hanger. And what they did is they paid everything by checks when there was no money or it was a fake account. So they'd go through a city and buy a bunch of stuff, pay by check, and they were called a paper hanger because the checks were made of paper and they left them hanging all around the town as they went through it. We haven't had one of those in quite a long time because we don't have checks. There used to be another one that was very interesting when those bank, the automatic bank things where you put your money in. Well, those were very stupid when they were first put in. They couldn't count the money. So people would put in an envelope and say, how much is in the envelope? They'd say, $10,000. There'd be nothing in the envelope. And then they'd say, well, now that I have $10,000 in my account, I would like to withdraw $7,000 of the money. And they would withdraw it from this account and go to another one. And this is one of the reasons why you now need ID to get a bank account, and they have the little cameras there to watch what you do and everything like that. It's all because people did this. They made a fortune. When the bad people, they would clear, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a day clearing out these bank machines because they could do it. They just put in something, said there was something there, and then withdrew it. And they had fake ID, and no one could catch them, and there was no cameras. And it worked really well for a while until they caught up with it. I didn't do it. Okay, I just point that out. I saw it. All right. So the question is, can they sue at small claims court? Now you're afraid, right? That's the problem. Never be afraid to be wrong, folks.
No.
Okay?
The amount is debatable because he says 500 plus interest.
Is the 500 debatable?
No.
It could be.
If you got a contract that says 500, that isn't the point of the thing. It's pretty hard to argue that if we have a contract for 500, then there isn't 500. But the interest, unless the interest is actually spelled out in the contract, how much are you owed for interest? Is it 1%? Is it 1% a year, a month? Is it 0.00000.1% a year? It doesn't matter how small the number is. It's still debatable. Right? Because there's no amount that you know. And as a result of that, the interest would not be able to go there.
So if there's not a contract, is the check still the contract?
It could be. the promise of payment. You don't know enough about contracts yet. That's after the midterm. When's the midterm? When? 27th? What's it today?
Six.
It's the 13th today?
Six.
6. So how many classes we got between now and the midterm, including tonight? That's perfect. This is why I didn't move the midterm up to before this study week. It's because it's kind of perfect the way it is. Now, I don't know what we're going to do with contracts. We're going to squeeze for time on them, but this is actually perfect. I need tonight, because you did your other homework, right? Did you do the other homework? What was the case about? The angry blowfish? Did you do that? We should have the walk of shame, right? We should just have all the people who didn't do their homework have to walk down to the back and sit there and commiserate with each other. I cannot tell you enough how important it is, but I do let people choose to fail. If that's what they choose to do, they can.
But is it possible to do it anyway?
Yeah, you'll see why in a bit. Her question was, if we didn't do it, should we do it anyways? And the answer is yes. And you're going to be given another opportunity, because I'm not going to do everything for you tonight. But it is so important that you've tried to do this, because you will not understand what you don't understand until you try to do it and see you don't understand it. And then next week, we still have a chance to fix it. I generally do not suggest that people try to learn new stuff after next week's class. Because if you find yourself confused, there's no way out. You want to be confused now. Right? That's when you want to be confused. And you're going to see me do something here tonight, just so you're aware. And how many of you are less than 20 years old or less? Put up your hand. Okay, so all you people that have your hands up, I've been teaching this course since before you were born. And I know how students screw it up. Trust me, I know. So when I tell you something, you can't think, maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. Maybe I'm going to be okay. The most deadly thing in this course is not doing your homework, coming to class, seeing how I do it, and then thinking, that looks easy, I think I can do it. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. And it's going to be even worse when we get into contracts. Because contracts looks easy until you start to do it, and then you suddenly start to realize how hard it is. And you've got to get that resolved. So I'm going to talk to you more about the complexity of the course as it changes after the midterm exam. Okay, but for tonight, I just want you to be aware of the fact that you can't do anything about it now. If you haven't done your homework, you better watch what's happening. But I don't want you to watch and say, I think I could have done that. Because you'll have no idea what you can and can't do if you haven't tried it. Okay? All right. So, now I want you to turn the page over. That's everything, right? Those are all the cases. Did you put your checks and stars or X's for the right answers and wrong answers? Okay? Then I want you to flip it over and take a look at the small claims form. And we're going to go through a few of these. Ready? So the homework assignment that the person did, first thing you want to check is, did they put Brandon on that top line? If they did, put a little check mark next to it. Next thing is the plaintiff. Who is who in this case?
Cinderella.
It's her name, address, postal code on 4 lines in the center. If it is, put a check mark next to that. Next thing is the defendant's name, address. Who's the defendant? Who?
Stepmother.
Who is it? We Ked. Who's the defendant? Wicked stepmother.
Stepmother.
Okay? So, you put his wicked stepmother's name and address in the middle below the and. If it is, put another check mark. How many of you have 3 check marks on the piece of paper in front of you? That's pretty good. Is there an amount filled in numbers? How much is that amount? 510 is fine with me. Okay, keep going. Have they checked a box or put an X or in a box? Does that box make sense? If it does, if they have other, did they fill in what the other was? If that's right, give them a check mark. Do they have something explaining the claim in the reasons for the claim section, that big blank spot in the middle? And did they sign or put ink on that line somewhere? And did they leave the rest of it blank? If they did all of that, go into your pouch and stuff and pull out your gold stars, because I know you all brought some tonight, and lick them and put one there, because students really like it when they get the gold stars. So put a nice star there, folks. If you have to draw it in there, do a little drawing of a star if they did it all right. How many of you have a piece of paper in front of you that has a star on it? Because you that got it all right. How many people have one that got it all right? How many people have one that there's a mistake on it? Okay, let's try again. How many of you have a piece of paper in front that was 100% correct and should get a star? Good. Hand them back. If you don't know who it is, fine. Just keep returning it until they get theirs back.
Address.
Here is right. What is it?
You didn't mention that you just said select a reasonable one.
But what we have to write here?
And by the way, you can't argue with your marker about the fact that they should have given you more marks. This wasn't actually 4 marks, so
Huh?
that must be wrong if you think they're wrong.
Thank you. What?
Has everyone got their paper back? Anybody have any questions at all? No throwing things and hitting people in the head. That's his fault. He was a bad catcher. You're a very good thrower. Don't try and catch it with the side of your head. It's hard to grab. All right. Anybody have any questions about anything? Anything at all? Anything before we move on? Okay. We have a few things we have to finish. We are going to finish the bulk of the course tonight, but most of the learning that you're going to do is, well, should have been in some of that homework, and it's going to take place in the rest of the homework that you have to do. Okay? So, we have to finish off by talking. All right. So, we have to finish dealing with defamation. Defamation is unique amongst the intentional tort because it has what are called specific defenses. These defenses, unlike general defenses that can always be used if the facts support them for any tort, specific defenses only go with this tort. In other words, you must be dealing with this tort and only this tort to deal with these defenses. They do not work for any other tort. Okay? So these are what we call specific defenses. They're specific to that tort. Do you understand what that means? Put up your hands if you understand. Let's try again. Do you understand what that means, specific defenses? Put up your hand if you understand. Do you not understand? Do you know? Okay, well then, you should ask.
You're asking me?
No, her, him. Carlos. Carlos?
Manuel.
Manuel, shit.
You're close.
Carlos sits over here in the other class. Manuel.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
ready?
waiting for you to, maybe give more detail for it.
Okay.
So,
I wasn't gonna. All right. There are two types of defenses in torts. There are general defenses. There were 6 of these. Do you remember them? What were they? Consent. What else? Self-defense. What else? Yeah. Defense of property. Lawful authority. Necessity and limitation periods. Right? Those are the 6 general defenses. You can always use them. Any tort. Specific defenses are tied to a tort. We've dealt with 6 torts, right? If we include defamation, I've given you the elements, I've given you everything else. None of those has specific defenses until this point. So these are the first specific defenses. So what I'm basically saying is on the other 5 torts, the only defenses are the general defenses. On this one, you have the general defenses too, because you always have those. Plus, we have more. And these defenses that are tied only to this tort are called specific. So what are they? The first one is called justification. So when we're dealing with defamation, there are 3 elements we have to prove, right? We have to prove that there's publication, or the plaintiff does. They have to prove it's an untrue statement. They have to prove that it damages the reputation. You have to have them all, right? Remember that? So the defense of justification is saying that the defendant is going to argue that the statement wasn't untrue. It was true. So when a defendant is trying to show the tort can't be proved by saying this element is a no, that is called the defense of justification. Even though it's really arguing that an element isn't there, it has a specific name when it comes to defamation, and there's a reason for this. Normally, if you go through these, you'll be proving that this was not an untrue statement, right? And therefore, you wouldn't be dealing, it doesn't make sense to deal with the defense when you've already dealt with the element here. But court proceedings are public. So if I walk up, what's your name? Win Wan. And say Win Wan is a no good hoe. And he sues me for damaging his reputation. Okay? And I say, all right, you're suing me. I say that that statement was true. When I stand up in court and say that, and file papers in court that say that it's true that he was a no-good hoe, what did I just do by defending that way?
Just to state again?